And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Going Nuclear, full-blown coverage of the Land right here, part of the Land Multimedia Group. I am Ethan Greenberg. Alongside of me are my co-hosts Drew Hagenbaugh and Mike Pellegrini. How are you fellas doing this evening?
Doing okay, or as okay as we can after today's performance.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Mike, how you doing?
Oh, chilled out a bit now after that horrendous extra innings, I guess, lost after the seventh inning onwards. But talk about it, I guess, in a bit.
We will, folks. We are definitely going to get to all of these things. There's so much going on in the world of Cleveland sports. There's things that definitely are going on in the world of sports in general that have us all a little bit crazy. Going nuclear. Let's just get to it, guys. Let's talk some Gardos. Gardos, some of the time. It was not Gardos all the time. They win the first. Did they win the first two games of this series, or they split the series with the Twins? And today was a disaster. Yeah, they won two, lost two. Today was an absolute disaster. Other than Stephen Kwan, it's nice to see Jose Ramirez back in the lineup, but they absolutely wasted a perfectly good outing, a phenomenal outing from Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams, a no decision in the game. He goes 7 strong innings, allows just 2 hits, and strikes out 11. That's unbelievable. And the bullpen let us down. The bats let us down. I'm frustrated. Find me a hitter. Tony Rizzo says, find me my quarterback. I say, find me my hitter. We got one freaking run in 12 freaking innings. We can't bunt anybody over. We can't hit a stinking sacrifice fly. You've got to be kidding me. What a bunch of boneheads.
Yeah, I also saw a stat too that today we were 0 for 17 with guys in scoring position, which makes things 10 times worse in that regard because I think all season long we've been really good at getting into scoring position. We've been good on getting in second and third base. Problem is, we're not so good at getting anybody home. And that was not the problem last year, because I remember last season we were one of the best teams at scoring runs, with runners in scoring position. Now we're the flip side, we're the worst. So I in my eyes, I just want to know what happened within a year that we go from the best with runners in scoring position to the absolute worst. It makes no sense to do that flip-flop.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, we haven't changed much of the team either. Like
exactly.
A lot of the guys
that's,
on this
the issue.
now were on the team last year. Like, makes no sense.
No, it makes no sense. And Drew, you were correct with runners in scoring position. The Guardians were a horrific 0 of 17. Minnesota wasn't any better or much better. They were 3 for 17. But on a day when you get a quality start and a phenomenal start like you did from Gavin Williams, who's kind of been struggling a little bit as of late, it just feels like such a missed opportunity. And coming the day after the crap show they put out there yesterday evening makes it even worse. I don't get it. I don't get where the mental lapses are. I don't understand what the lack of execution is. Again, how is it that you can't lay down a bunt properly? How is it that you can't hit a sacrifice fly? What is Stephen Vogt thinking? What on earth is he thinking in the ball game? Then on top of that, you've got Hunter Gaddis comes in the 8th inning, and he's got a favorable count on the hitter, and then he decides, okay, I'm going to play hero ball, and he overthrows it, and you can clearly see that because the ball's way up in the strike zone. He walks a couple of guys, and now you got to bring in Cade Smith to try and make a 4 or 5 out save potentially. First pitch gets hit into center field to tie the stinking ball game. It was as if the hitter knew exactly what was coming. Oh, geez, color me shocked.
I mean, it's just bizarre. And to be honest, too, I know a lot of people are starting to go after Vogt. And to be honest, what What is that going to do, though? I know it's you, Mike. But it really does nothing to go after Vogt because it's the players who are doing the work. Vogt, all he can do is just sit on it. It's not like he can give directions or whatnot. I mean, he could give you directions like, oh, 10th inning, we should probably bunt the guy over to third and go for a sac fly or something. But it's also on the guys to actually execute the bunts and the guys to actually execute these things. And
our best bunter was sat on the dugout because Vogt didn't decide to make a catcher change. He could have brought Hedges in.
Brought Hedges in. And those are some things that are in Vogt's control, but there's so many things like that are wildly out of his control, like the defensive errors, like Manzardo swinging and missing at every single thing. Like, yeah, he could try and fix those things during practices and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's up to the guys to actually do the thing because he can't go out there and do it for them. So, I mean, I'm in the eyes of, yeah, you could, there's times where you could blame coaches, but, and also too, there's times where you can't because what do you want them to do? They've probably put in a great game plan. It's just up to the guys on your team to execute that game plan. I mean, we said it during Spurs games, crew games, any kind of games. It's like, hey, look, what do you want me to do about it? I'm just a guy who's sitting on the bench just watching things happen. What do you want me to do about it? Do you want me to go out there and hit the home run for you? I can't do that. So,
yeah, Mike, I think you were gonna throw in a thought there, so I wanted to make sure I didn't cut in front of you or cut you off there. Let you share your thoughts on this further.
On what part?
I don't know. It looked like he had something you were gonna point out.
It's just like if you got it's the bunting situation in that game. Like,
yeah,
10th inning we bunt with Bailey, who I don't think is great for doing that anyway. And then you've got Austin Hedges, is probably our best bunter in the entire team.
Well,
you can bring him into the game, and even if you don't, then when you get to the 12th inning, was it 12th inning?
It was in the 11th inning.
11th inning. You were at the top of the order,
right? Quan was your ghost runner at second. They decided we are going to walk Ramirez, and so you've got runners on first and second, nobody out, tie ball game. All you need to do is score one run, and you've got Chase DeLauder at the plate, Rocchio on deck. Why didn't you bunt then? Is I think what you're going to say there, Mike.
I just got confused with the innings, but yeah, the 11th inning exactly where two guys on. Why aren't you bunted the inning before and it didn't work? Why aren't you trying again? Because the way the offense was producing, lack of production, I must say, in that game, was going 0 for 17 with guys in one in scoring position. Why aren't you trying to actually get a guy to third to then just hit a sac fly to try and end the game? And even if you don't trust Chase DeLauder to do it, you got, like I've said about Hedges already, you could have brought him into the game to just try and bunt the run across the third. Then if you don't score, you just bring Schneemann in, who ended up pinch hitting for Pete Halpin anyway, to just play in the outfield.
Right. It's crazy. And here's where I would answer you and your hypothetical question, Drew, about what the coach can do. What they can do is to, first of all, it's a strategic thing.
Well, yeah.
It's making those adjustments as you're going along. It's like what we were talking about and have talked about with all of these games. We talked about this with Gerard Cherry last week, the changing of the coach for the Cleveland Browns and what is effective and holding players accountable.
Mm-hmm. Stefanski used to do this, and then he wouldn't make the adjustments. You're like, mate, come on. You speak after the game saying we're a young team. You're going to make mistakes, and then it's continuously happening.
It's the definition of insanity, and quit trying to blow smoke up my rear end. You need to make some changes. We can't have a first baseman who's a fielding liability and is a liability at the plate. I don't care if occasionally he hits a garbage time home run or a double every once in a while. Something's wrong with dude. And he has not turned out to be the guy that we had hoped he would be. Sometimes you literally, and this fits baseball, you literally take a swing and a miss. It happens. But you have to admit your mistake and move on. You can't keep forcing it and think it's suddenly going to get better. It's not. It's just not. We've seen enough. I've seen enough of Gabby Arias and his stupid haircut. I've seen him boot enough balls and be a lazy bum. I've seen enough of him swinging and missing terribly. Yeah, every once in a while he's going to come up with a hit. Great, good for him. But he's terrible. By comparison, he's terrible.
For some reason, though, we allow it to be such a long leash on these guys. Like, how long did it take for Bo Naylor to get sent to the complex in Arizona for a few weeks before going to Columbus? Like,
and that was only because I was reading an article, I think in the Akron Beacon Journal. They were talking to Chris Antonetti, who's he's the general manager, correct? Chris Antonetti, yes. And essentially, the Bailey thing happened when it happened because San Francisco was at a point they were ready to move. They had been in contact and they wanted to move him. It just happened to work out that way because if it hadn't, we might still be watching Bo Naylor.
And are we going to do the same thing with Gabriel Arias? Is there going to be some infield that we've been tracking for ages, and then we're only going to make the move when the team decides actually this guy?
Well, I got something on Arias too.
Yes, so go for it.
One of my buddies who I talk to regularly, he knows someone within. He has a pretty reliable guy he talks to, and he asked a couple years ago about Gabriel Arias, and he said, "Is Arias who's keeping Arias around, essentially? Is it Chernoff or who's keeping him around?" And his source replied, "Yeah, it's the analytical tools in the front office who want Arias's arm in the lineup every single day." So they said his arm, and they still think he's got the hitting tools or whatever. So it's the analytical department who want him in the lineup daily. They're the ones. So it's Chernoff and the analytical guys who want Arias in the lineup daily.
Are these the same guys then that keeping Matt Fester in the bullpen?
Yeah. These are the same guys who are probably keeping Fester in the bullpen. These are the same guys who are keeping certain people around. They're the ones who are struggling to send Bo Naylor down for a while because he has pop in his bat. So
you have to use your eyes. You have to use common sense. I swear I heard somebody yell this from the crowd.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did hear that.
And it's the same guys who are keeping Manzardo playing every day at first base.
It's terrible. I don't get it. They won't admit their mistake. The funniest thing was when they made that trade for Manzardo. And they did that and pissed off the entire locker room. And then they went on to a series or wherever they were. They went out and stunk up the joint. I think it was a game in Houston.
Yeah.
I think Antonetti or whomever had to fly down there to talk to everybody because we were a game out of first place. A game out of first place. And they, at that point, not that he's some great savior, Aaron Savali was about the most consistent pitcher we had at that time. And they traded him away. And they basically were saying and signaling, the team at least thought, the fans thought and saw, you're giving up on the season. You won't even try and add players. We're a game out of first place, and you trade away all these guys for Manzardo.
Oh, yeah, this was
they're going to do it again, though, this year with the flipping lockdown coming down. They're going to be like, oh, we're a game out. We don't know what the future is for next year. We're going to trade some guys away. Like, just give up on the season.
I hope not, because I know what your season you're talking about. You're talking about the 23 season where they traded Savali, and I think later on they traded Cal Quantrill.
Right.
At the same time.
And did we not also trade Josh Bell? Was it that when we traded?
We traded Josh Bell in the middle of the year. We traded Josh. Yeah, we traded Josh Bell in the middle of the year, and then in that same season, I think that's when we picked up Noah Syndergaard as well.
Right.
And we picked up like Cole Calhoun, and you had Callahan as your catcher, whatever his name was, and the other catcher, I can't think of his name at the top of my head. I can picture his face, and it's a smug face, and I hate remembering it. But
I know exactly who you mean. His name's gone off my head.
Yeah, his name's gone off my. But
did he go to the Tigers? Did he go to Tigers?
I think he did. I have to look up the roster and see.
Well, I can tell you what we did. In that, it was July 31st, ahead of the trade deadline. This is according to AI, which is always reliable, never wrong. They traded Aaron Savali for Kyle Manzardo, a prospect. Everyone said Manzardo, oh, this guy's great. But I was told, no, actually that's what Emmett Golden says. I was told, but this is what I heard.
Brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah,
All right.
that's what I was told. What you got, Drew?
I looked it up, Mike. It was Cam Gallagher and Mike Zunino.
Zanino.
That's what I was thinking. It was Mike Zunino.
Oh, I was wrong. I was thinking of someone else.
Well,
Because
regardless,
that's what we called up Bo Naylor shortly after, because I think we released one of them and we brought up Bo Naylor. And we also had, funny enough, a guy who's playing well right now, Eric Haase.
yeah, I don't know if Len Barker is available. He might be better than Matt Festa. I'll tell you what. I would certainly rather see him out there than Matt Festa. That guy, between him and Armstrong, and the fact that they are holding on to Armstrong so tightly just because they paid him $8 million or whatever lame number it is,
Like 5, wasn't it?
$5 million, and next year it's 8. Who cares? I'm telling you, that's pocket change to the Dodgers. It's pocket change. They sneeze and they spend more money than that. This is ridiculous. The Guardians are. I saw a quote from Bruce Drennan, I believe, who said something to the effect of, and again, I'm paraphrasing, so I hope I'm getting this right. I believe he's the person who said it. People talk about the Dolans being cheap. They paid me a 6-figure salary after I got out of jail. So maybe I'm getting the wrong person. So please don't quote me on that. I might be. I saw something about this and I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I don't know. But today's performance was
Abysmal.
It was, abysmal. It was angering on numerous levels. But Drew, you mentioned a couple of things, positive things. I'll let you share those and kind of lead us down the positive path here in this poop sandwich.
Yeah, so the first positive thing I want to mention was Patrick Bailey. So Patrick Bailey, since basically being acquired by the Guardians, prior to that with San Francisco, he's batting 143 with a 396 OPS. Since then, he has had a 273 batting average, a 766 OPS, 99 at-bats, 27 hits, 6 walks, 4 doubles, a triple, and 4 homers. So he's definitely improved since coming to Cleveland, which is great. That's great news. You want 2 catchers who are doing very well. So that's a positive. The next positive is in the month of July, Steven Kwan has looked like his old self again. He's finally hitting the baseball. He's constantly getting on base. I mean, the last couple of days he's had multi-hit games. This is the Steven Kwan that we've all come to love a couple of years ago, a guy who is far and away really just reliable at the plate. And obviously his glove in the last few games, he made a great catch to, I think it was today. He made another diving catch today. So, I mean, he's absolutely crushing it. I mean, I'm looking at now in the last 30 days, Steven Kwan is batting 348 in the last 30 days or 30 games, with a 448 on base percentage and a 438 slugging percentage. So he has improved drastically. So there's definitely some positives that are coming out of these. And it's at least worth noting that, hey, at least some guys are going in the right direction. Patrick Bailey being one of them, Steven Kwan being one of the guys who were struggling to start the year. So,
and to add to that, the other great surprise is to already get Jose Ramirez back.
Yeah, that's a huge.
He didn't have a great day today, but he certainly had a good day yesterday. Couple of hits, and he was running the bases well and tagging up and kind of just doing all the things that we expect out of Jose Ramirez. And even today, he goes 0 for 3 at the plate, but does get on base with 2 walks, one of them intentional. But nevertheless, at least he's getting on base. This was just ridiculous. Steven Kwan, 2 for 4 and a 1 walk. The only other hit by the Guardians was Patrick Bailey's solo home run.
Yep.
Unreal. What I didn't know that the Minnesota pitcher was so good today. I did not know Bradley was some kind of superstar over here. But whatever. And of course, the bullpen stinks. This is a great question. And it's an excellent debate point here. Can LeBron lay down a suicide squeeze bunt? I bet he could. He's getting very proficient at golfing.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think he could. for sure. He's a massive athlete. He could learn quickly.
I think he's got the skills.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
Just he's got good. He obviously have a pretty long bat too. Could you imagine? Think about how with his height and everything. Sheesh. Who was it that they were talking about the pitcher yesterday? Was it Bailey Ober for Minnesota? How tall was that guy? They said he was tall. I think they said 6'7", 6'9", something ridiculous. And we talked about mentioned some of the draft picks for the Guardians in the most recent draft and how tall their pitchers are. That the guys they drafted, kind of crazy.
6'9" is Bailey Ober.
That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
We drafted the basketball team in like 5 straight rounds in the MLB draft. I think it was all pitchers. They were like 6'8" and 6'9".
Yes.
It's like ridiculous.
It is. And one guy that we have not mentioned is Angel Martinez.
Yeah.
Angel Martinez is close. He is very close to being back. I know that was it Tom Hamilton who was on ESPN Cleveland yesterday and really broke the news about Ramirez being back. And I believe it was Hamilton that mentioned that they needed to see Angel. They wanted him to play a couple of days in a row, a full game in his rehab stint. And the fact that Jose Ramirez didn't even need a rehab stint is just, well, that's Jose. That's just Jose there.
It's frustrating though, isn't it, that we go 15-15 without him. As soon as he comes back, we go 0-2.
Right, and that could just be coincidence. It sucks, but the important thing was to tread water while he was out. The thing is now, and this was in that article that I was reading in the Akron Beacon Journal, this discussion with Antonetti, discussing the fact that because the playoffs have been expanded, there are more teams that are still alive at this point in the season. And as such, they're not as likely to pull the trigger on various trades. So it kind of bites you in the rear end a little bit because there's a bunch of teams still trying to stay in this thing and aren't willing to give up players for nothing. It's going to cost you to give up players, and that's where it becomes a little bit of a tricky situation. And we know how our ownership and front office seems to operate. I don't know. I think that's more on the ownership, and the front office merely executes the plan that the
when
ownership
is the trade deadline?
August the 3rd, 6 p.m. Is that correct, Mike? I believe you said.
That is correct, Jeff. 3rd of August at 6 p.m.
Okay. So a week and a half, essentially.
Right. And apparently that's about 3 days later. Is my understanding. It's 3 days later than it used to be or had been. So again, that gives you a few more games to play. I don't know what that's really going to do.
Probably nothing.
So we've got 9 games between now and then. We've got 6-game road trip in Tampa and Cincinnati. Then we come home for a series against Arizona, and then it's an off day on the trade deadline. We don't play, so
yeah, this is a humongously important road trip. Tampa Bay, obviously, they are the top team record-wise in the American League, sitting in first place in the AL East at 59-43. Cleveland needs to go down there and somehow manage to win a series. You can't get swept. You need to win a series. And then you mentioned Cincinnati. Cincinnati is not having a great season, but we know that Tito will have them ready.
Mm-hmm.
Francona will have them ready. Certainly, we already played them.
And the other thing is, they stole the Ohio Cup from us last year, and they're going to want to defend that regardless of their standings. So I think they need, is it 1 game? Do they need 1 game to retain it? Because didn't they go like 2-1 against us last?
I will have to look and see, because we played them earlier this season at home. Am I correct on that, Drew? I believe that.
Yes.
So
I was looking it up too.
They definitely won the series. I know that. So they basically need 1 game against us because you have to win the series.
Actually, the Guardians took 2 out of 3.
I did.
yeah, the Guardians lost the first game of the series 7-6. This is back in May 15th. They lose 7-6. They then win on Saturday, the 16th of May, 7-4, and they closed out the series on Sunday, May 17th, with a 10-3 victory. The Guardians will need to win at least one.
Because
well,
they retired.
Right. Okay, gotcha. So they're gonna. It's not gonna be easy. It's never gonna be easy, and we got to watch out. What is it? Is it Will Benson who torments us?
I think he's gone now.
Yeah, they DFA'd him. I think.
Oh, finally, because he was killing us. He constantly would come back to haunt us.
Yeah, he's gone now. He got DFA'd like a month ago.
Because I was waiting for us to pick him up.
Yeah,
still a chance.
I've seen crazier things happen. The fact that the Guardians were also playing Arias at first base after they brought him in signals even further that when Angel Martinez comes back, probably the person who's going to go is going to be Halpin. He's going to get sent back down to Columbus, and we're going to be stuck with Arias. The only thing I suggested to you fellas was maybe if we acquired a bat in the lineup, maybe then they would move on from him. But
I've got a name. Like, I don't know if it's going to happen. It's a former Guardian. Andre Knott kind of brought up his name, I think. Was it Andre Knott brought up his name on ESPN?
I think I know who you're talking about.
Go for it. Well, who is this?
Lane Thomas.
Oh, come. Well, wait a second. Let me stop myself. He's an outfielder.
Correct.
I didn't mind him when he was healthy.
He's not bad this season. I saw his stats the other day. I think he's hitting very well as of late.
Because ESPN Cleveland had Andre Knott and Hammy on this week, so I can't remember which one of them brought up his name, but one of them did mention Lane Thomas because the Royals are like miles out of this. They were 42 and 60 last I looked.
He's
43 and 16.
So
right.
I'm looking at Lane Thomas's stats right now. He's got in 256 at bats. He's batting 240 with 9 home runs, 37 RBIs, 6 stolen bases, and a 740 OPS. So better than what we really have, essentially.
But where are you going to put him? That's my question. Where are you putting
outfield?
him?
In the outfield.
Center field, baby.
Because then you send Halpin down, and then you've got the decision of who do you then remove as well? Do you remove Manzardo or do you move Arias? Because
I'd rather get rid. All right, we're gonna do the polling of the audience here.
Because if you get Lane Thomas, you're gonna have to make 2 moves.
Right. That's if you had to choose, would you between Manzardo and Arias? Who you keeping? Who you sending? Who are you shipping off on a space shuttle to the sun?
I don't know why I'm saying.
Gabby Arias.
Okay, Mike.
Manzardo.
Oh, we got a split decision.
And the reason is because with Jose back, Arias isn't going to play as much, whereas Manzardo, if you keep him, is. So if you can get him out, and he's no longer in the discussion for first base. That forces you to play like Reese Hoskins or someone at first base rather than having to deal with Manzardo.
Arias.
Or you can
having him play first base.
Or you can put Arias at first base. And I'd rather Manzardo be gone, potentially.
And that doesn't mean that, because even then, they could still just put Arias at shortstop here and now. And then that starts to chip away a little bit at Bizana.
Right. I would rather...
And I don't take that gamble.
Now, I would much rather ship Arias off on a spaceship to the sun than Manzardo, and the only reason being this: the attitude and the effort. I know that Manzardo pisses us all off to no end, but I don't question his attitude. I don't question his hustle.
Yeah.
That I can live with a guy that is not the best in the field and not the best at the plate, but at least gives effort. It pisses me off to no end to see a guy who has talent. The analytics say he's got this talent, he's got an arm, and he's got the tools, and yet he puts in such piss poor effort that he hurts the team. That's just me.
You mean like the other day when he hits a ground ball, the guy bobbles it like 5 times and he's still lollygagging to first base and still gets thrown out, when if you just sprinted just a little bit, he could have made it.
Right. We saw it, was it yesterday? It had to have been yesterday with Jose beating out what could have been a double play ball to keep things alive. It's just that kind of effort.
Just effort. Mm-hmm.
It's just effort.
Yeah, the thing is, if you are going to move Arias to first base, I'd rather you get rid of him and keep Manzardo there. But if you're not going to play him at first base, I'd rather get rid of
they will.
Manzardo.
They're going to play him.
Arias ain't going to play much with Jose back.
But they're going to play him at first base. That's why they've been working him over there. They're
first game in 2 years though.
But that's the point. If they were to move on from Manzardo, you're going to see Arias at first base. They want him in the lineup one way or another.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
The game was a pinch hitter. Like, it was late in the game. He didn't start the day there.
I understand that the fact is they're trying him out there. They're trying him out to see if they can find a spot for him. They want him in the lineup.
That was what I was saying earlier. The analytical department sure enough wants him in the lineup daily. So whether that they try him in the outfield, they try him at first base, they try him at pitcher, it don't matter. They're going to try him wherever they want him to be so they can play him every single day.
Can't we just send this analytics guy to the Colorado Rockies to hang out with DePodesta?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Arias needs DFA'd.
The front office loves him way too much for him to be DFA'd.
To be fair, if I had it my way, both of them would be gone. And then
I agree. Yeah, they both.
Yeah, if we had our way, both would be gone in a heartbeat.
I said this the other day to you guys. I'd rather have Schneemann as your utility infielder and then just get rid of both of them guys and just.
I've already said I'd rather have Hedges be our bullpen pitcher over Matt Festa.
I agree with that for sure. Absolutely. Let me ask you this so we can kind of close out the Guardians. Free agency, as we mentioned, the trade deadline is coming up on August the 3rd, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We've got 9 games between now and then. Any names or guys that you have seen or heard as a possibility, whether it be a bullpen arm, whether it be a bat, anything of that nature that specifically you said, hey, I've heard this and this would be a great guy to target, other than Lane Thomas?
Well, didn't the Red Sox have a first baseman we could have gone after? But unfortunately, they decided to win 15 games in a row, so that killed any hope of taking in the Red Sox players.
Right. Well, that wasn't Duran, was it?
I wouldn't mind Duran as well. Who's their other guy?
I am not sure. I will have to look that up unless Drew is looking that up. I mean,
does Contreras play for them?
It's a distinct possibility. I will try and find their roster.
But anyway, there was the Red Sox were going to be sellers.
Oh, are you talking about Are you talking about Spencer Steer?
I don't know.
Because he's a Reds first baseman.
Red Sox.
Wilson Contreras.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now this isn't it, and I don't know. So maybe
the Reds are another team though that are going to be sellers as well, along with the Mets.
The Mets are a seller. Francisco Lindor?
Nope. Too expensive. Underperformed. Roque's been better than him since Roque's turned around.
I know. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely
and then you'd hamper Bazardo's development unless you can find a spot for Frankie in the outfield, but I don't even know if he's ever played out there. So
right. Has DeLauder played first base, guys?
I don't think so.
I thought it seemed like one of the guys we brought up last year did some first base. Was that maybe Kafis?
It was Kafis. Kafis played first.
Okay.
Kafis is hurt, isn't he? He got put on the injured list.
Yeah, he had a bad injury. He definitely. All right.
Well, that was Kafis' main position before he got called up, was first base, and then they moved him to the outfield so he could get called up to the Guardians.
Now, I don't know if this question, so Shane, I appreciate the comments and the question. If everyone is healthy, what's y'all's starting defense? I assume you mean who would we want out there, not including DH? If that is correct, I mean, in the outfield, you got to have, would you go Quan in center, Angel or Quan in left, Angel in center, and DeLauder in right.
Those would be my three.
That's what I'd have, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you got Jose, Rocchio, Bazana, and at first base, do you want Hoskins or Manzardo? I guess I'd go Hoskins.
I'd go Hoskins because
I'd rather go David Fry, but I'll go Hoskins.
Well, no, that's fair. At
least played it for the first time in like 2 years or something the other day. I swear he did.
Right, and then
David Fry is actually a natural first baseman. He's a natural catcher and first baseman.
Quite frankly, I'd love to have David Fry play every day.
And his bat's better than both of those guys when he gets consistent at bats.
Exactly, and then I put Hedges
catching.
Hedges for sure. Hedges absolutely for sure. It's amazing what that guy has done to change up his hitting and improve so much. Unreal. Thanks for the question, Shane. I do appreciate that. So that is going to close out our discussion here on the Guardians. I think we beat that one to death. Want to take a moment here to thank one of the fine sponsors, part of the Land Multimedia Group, Dick's House of Sport out in Strongsville. Be sure to get out there for all of your athletic apparel, sportswear needs. They've got so much going on out there, events. You can do parties. They've got a golf simulator, all kinds of crazy stuff. As I like to say, Dick's House of Sport, it's not just a store, it's a destination. Moving forward, let's talk a little bit real quick about the Cavs, and then we'll move on to the Browns and training camp. The biggest news going on around the entirety of the sports world, not just with the Cavs, is thank you very much, Shane. Appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. Mike is the best. Obviously, he is the brought us all on and put together the Land Multimedia Group, Bearded Browns, excellent podcast, and soon to be on the radio. So big news there as the Land Multimedia Group, the Bearded Browns. So again, thank you very much for tuning into that or tuning into us. We really do appreciate it. The whole basketball world is on hold for this one guy, LeBron James.
He's even affecting Europe now because there's that guy that wants to come back to the NBA.
Hezonja.
Wasn't he like a top 5 pick in the draft?
Yeah, he was a 5th overall in the draft a few years ago, and apparently he's been playing in Europe and he's been doing really
well.
Great.
Yeah, he's playing for Real Madrid in Europe and Spain.
But he's waiting for LeBron's decision to figure out where he wants to go. So I don't know if that's because he's going to go where LeBron goes, maybe on like a cheapest deal to just get as a pathway back into the NBA. I don't know.
Hey, he and Luke Travers can go play together. All right, enough of this guy.
Luke Travers is going back to Australia, isn't he?
I think he's gone back to Australia.
He went back to Australia or something. They told him to get a haircut and he wouldn't listen, so they had to fire him. The crazy thing is this: the rumors are rampant, and who knows what to even believe at this point. Everybody has an opinion on it. I love the fact that somebody from the Miami Heat staff apparently got fired for that slip up.
Oh, the posting of the video or the live feed or whatever it's supposed to be. That's a LeBron James announcement.
Correct. I love it. But let me ask you this, so I can't even be original to thinking this. So I don't want to be.
You're going to think exactly what I'm thinking now.
I don't want to be accused of stealing someone else's thoughts here, but I was thinking it. Was this person, did they do this to somehow manipulate these poly markets? This stupid Kalshi thing?
This is exactly the thought that I had when I saw this.
Yeah.
And then they mentioned it today on the radio, and I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me.
If I were LeBron James, I would tip my buddies off. I'd have them. I'd say, all right, we're going to start this rumor, then we're going to start that rumor, and then you guys are all going to buy, and we're going to have insider trading, and you're going to make a lot of money off of this. This is stupid. I wish Kalshi would go away. This is quite possibly the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I cannot stand it. Quit talking to me about this nonsense. Drew, you've talked about it, how it is nothing. Please share your thoughts on Kalshi.
Yeah, so Kalshi and Poly Market all they're just prediction markets. So it's essentially like the stock market. The more you place bets on a certain thing, the more value or the more it goes up. So like when all these prediction markets like Kalshi or Polymarket say, oh, Miami's ahead at 38%, the Cavs are just behind at 30%. Well, that 38% is because, and you can see it on the side on the screenshots, like there's like dollar signs with numbers on next to them. Those are what people are betting, and the color of the bet or the color of the team, like the team's dot, like Miami would be blue, the Cavs would be green or whatever. You see all the blue, and it's like, oh, $2,000, $200, $100. Yeah, that means that Miami's stock is going up because many people are betting on Miami. So that's why Miami's at 38%, the Cavs are at 30%, because that 38% is people betting on Miami to land LeBron James. It's not that they know where LeBron is going and that it's, oh, hey, 30. We all know LeBron's going to Miami. So people take it for some, and it's for a lot of different things. And people take it as some kind of gospel for, oh, well, LeBron's going here. And I remember for some other trades too, like Myles Garrett. It's like, oh, where's Myles Garrett going? Is he going to LA? Is he going to this place? And it's like, why? Number one, why are you betting on that stuff? It's stupid. It's dumb. If you want to bet on money lines and spreads like every normal person does. But stop trying to think like these prediction markets tell you the truth. LeBron's not going to Miami based on Polymarket or based on Kalshi. He's just not. So you're wasting your $2,000 that you just put on Miami to get him. I hope you lose. I hope it goes to Utah, so you lose that. And whoever the one guy, me, who bet on Utah, gets rid.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Well, Mike, I didn't mean to spoil this for you because this is I apparently we've stolen your thunder here.
This is my going nuclear at the end of the episode. This is Zach's topic.
Now, what you're going nuclear is that we stole your going nuclear unintentionally.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, like people just create all these rumors, make up stories to then influence these markets for people to then
absolutely
put money on to make it look like LeBron's favorite to go to Miami when realistically is not. It's just people just placing money on it.
Well, basically, let's look at it for what it is. In gambling, sports books, what is the ultimate goal of the sports books? It's to make money.
Money, yep.
So when they see a bunch of bets going one way, they change the odds, they correct for certain things to try to entice people to bet the other way. They want to make money. That's the whole point. Yeah, and I cannot understand why people can't figure this out, or they then think, oh, well, they say this team's the favorite. They say this team's the favorite. This is where they're going to go. Oh, my God. No, you jackass. You're killing me.
Yeah, that's just who people are betting on the most. Like if we're betting on the Browns versus Jaguars, and all three of us bet on the Browns. Of course, the favorites is going to be the Browns because more people are betting on the Browns than the Jaguars. So the Jaguars are going to be, quote unquote, the underdog or, the plus money bet. Right. So,
and they'll change the odds or the money line
based on where the money's going
to get people to then bet on the other
opposite
direction.
Side. Yep.
And I don't understand why people can't understand this. Am I stupid or are they stupid?
No, everyone else is just stupid.
I know as well. You get these people who are NBA accounts. Like, I don't know if they're like meant to be like reporters or whatever, but they're continuously just tweeting about these markets, and it's like every day, like they're giving regular updates going, the Miami Heat are 47%, the Cavs are 32%. It drives me insane.
The worst part is, too, is you're getting people on ESPN reposting it and posting this. Exactly. And it's like, you work for ESPN. Like, don't you think you would kind of know about what the betting is and what the prediction markets are? Like, don't you think you would know what these are? I mean, you are kind of sponsored by all of them.
And then you create stories to like Wendy said, that this is a dangerous week because there's nothing going on in sports world apart from LeBron, really.
Yeah.
And they've got to just fill viewing slots on these discussion shows. Yeah. And like they could just make up stories basically just to influence this market, and it's just out of control.
It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And you made a great point, Drew. You sent us a story in the in the group text. Now, if this is if this is for real,
is this the honest thing about him not getting happy already?
I mean, did he? If he actually,
I saw multiple. I saw.
I've seen other tweets about this.
Well, and I also seen a live podcast of Giannis and the guy he was talking to where he said this. So he said it on the podcast.
Yeah,
so it's true. So it's real.
He says, "I'm happy to be in Miami. In Miami now, I won't lie. I don't feel comfortable. I don't know the team, but I'm going over there and I will do my best. I've been doing this my whole life, and I hope it turns out well. I love the city of Milwaukee. I will love Milwaukee until I die. I bleed purple and green. It's very simple. They made me who I am today." I think that's a very nice statement to make, and it shows some respect for Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it does kind of show that it's not all beaches and sunshine there in Miami. He's got questions and apprehensions about it as well. It's not that easy to leave a team where you've matured and become who you are to go to this place. So Miami is not that great of a landing spot, is I guess what you were saying, Drew. And mm-hmm. I think that many people recognize when you look at the roster surrounding Giannis and what would await LeBron if he were to go there. What really is there on that roster? And I don't see it.
Well, and it's funny because Bill Simmons has said it, and and a lot of other people now on ESPN and other sports networks are starting to say it too. Except for like your Windhorst, your Shams, the people who kind of want LeBron to edge towards Miami. They're saying like, well, what does Miami have to offer player wise outside of Giannis and Bam? Like, what else do they have to offer? They don't have much to offer. The bench is horrible. The only bench player you have is Tim Hardaway Jr. That's the only bench guy you have. Outside of that, who is it? Fontecchio is the next guy. Fontecchio? Yeah. Nobody knows who the heck that is. Nobody knows who Fontecchio is.
Right. You thought he was a cheese for a minute.
I thought he was a
cheese.
Yeah. So it's like, who are these guys on the bench? Who's going to help this team? And then if you need people, yeah, you're going to sign LeBron. But guess what? You're going to have to trade Bobby Portis again. You're going to have to trade this guy and this guy. And guess what? The team just gets weaker. And I said it earlier today. You're one Giannis injury away from this team being completely, barely even making it to the play-in at all. So if Giannis gets injured, I don't think this team makes the play-in. Or if they do, they're back in the 10th place where they were last season. So it's not a good roster. And if LeBron really wanted to go to Miami to play with a bunch of bums, he would have stayed in LA. So why would he go to the same place he was just at just to do the same thing? So right. It makes Miami makes absolutely zero sense. Like, unless it was a long-term thing, like Mike has said before, if it was a long-term thing, then yeah, it makes sense. But if it's for a year, barely 2 years, it makes zero sense whatsoever. He wants to go to a team that's ready now, not ready in a year or 2 years or whatever. He wants to be ready now. And the only two teams that are ready pretty much now are Philly and Cleveland. Those are the only ready now teams.
Well, if he was to win a championship, he'd go to San Antonio on the
yeah, or you go to OKC San Antonio at that point.
the vet minimum or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like under $4 million.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And with all the rumors that have come out, we talked a little bit before the show about this with the time it's taking for an announcement, a decision to be given by LeBron. And I have some theories. Some people were theorizing they're waiting for roster adjustments. Then I've seen other things that came out that said, no, it's not him waiting for some team to go get Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving. Those were the names that everything that popped up yesterday, all of a sudden. And I don't know, first of all, if you caught this, but our good friend Emmett Golden at ESPN Cleveland responded to one of those posts indicating, or at least breaking it down. And the way it was written, it says they're hearing sources, or they're hearing people say, and he pointed out very appropriately, hearing something and someone telling you something are two very different things. Those are two very different things when it comes to how valid it is, how true it is. And we're hearing so much stuff. It's absolutely crazy. It brings up great debate and discussion because there is nothing going on, but I don't know how much of it is actually valid. And I've got a crazy theory of my own that I shared with you guys about maybe when something might come out. There is first of all, Rich Paul is going to be in Cleveland or in Northeast Ohio for some event he's hosting. Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, his agent for LeBron. And also there is an exhibit opening at the Cleveland Public Library for the 2016 championship. Wouldn't it be amazing to make that type of an announcement at the opening of this exhibit or in conjunction with that? Those are some crazy tinfoil hat moments I've had over here. I don't know about you, Mike. Any thoughts on that?
Well, it would be the perfect return story, wouldn't it, for him to come back on the day that they're hosting an event to like celebrate the 10 years of the Cavs' last championship. But I don't know. Like, I think LeBron's going to drag it out into August. Personally, that's how I'm kind of feeling right now.
Well, right. And there was a discussion about the Anthony Davis piece where the Wizards, originally there was discussion about the Warriors as a destination.
Why didn't he just go to the Wizards? Because that roster, in my opinion, is better than the Miami Heat roster. You've got Trae Young, AD, you've got all these other young guys. That's probably a better fit than Miami.
Somebody, if you remember, this had to have been weeks ago. Somebody brought up the Wizards,
and they've probably got cap space as well to potentially add a couple more guys as well. Like
that would be unreal. That would be
go there. They could get Klay Thompson to shoot in. Like they've got flexibility, surely.
Sure. They absolutely have that. The thing with Anthony Davis is Washington had said, no, we are not moving on from him. We are not trading him. But he also wants an extension. And I think they said August 6th possibly is what a date. It's kind of an important marker in terms of whether or not he's going to extend with them. And at that point, they might be like, crap, we don't want to lose him after this year for nothing.
But they want multiple first-round picks and they want picks.
Yeah. It's like and they're not going to get it. Who has that? Who even has that to do that? And I don't see the Cavs certainly don't. And I wouldn't do it. The only thing I would do is do a straight up Mobley for AD. That's what I would do. And I will point out.
But the problem is the Cavs aren't going to do that because they had the opportunity potentially to do that for Giannis or
right.
Brown. Like they're not going to do it for AD.
They got some analytical bonehead who decided that Evan Mobley was better than Giannis. What a joke. Give me a stinking break. They should have made that move because I think Giannis would have then stuck around here, even if Cleveland wasn't on his short list of places he wanted to be traded this offseason. I think that if we had made the move then, we would have had him. It's kind.
I said this the other day though, right? If you made the trade for Giannis, knowing that you're not his preferred destination, but then LeBron comes back, you'll sign him to say a 3-4-year extension, and even if LeBron walks after 2 years to retire, you can then still get a good return for Giannis, probably better than what you would have originally got for Mobley if you hadn't traded Mobley for Giannis and you tried to shift it elsewhere. I think the return for Giannis in a couple of years would still probably have been better than what you could have got elsewhere for Mobley. So it's like,
okay, I'm going to throw something.
Why don't you just take that risk?
All right, I'm going to throw this out there to you guys, my theory on this, and you tell me where you fall. I posed a statement that I would rather, if the move was there to be made, if the Cavs were to send off either Mobley or Allen, and they were to, in order to get Anthony Davis and LeBron James, I was told that is short-sighted, and it's a short-term solution. But my retort would be this: if we don't make that move, are we winning a championship with the roster as is? No.
This is what I've been saying, though. We're not going to win a championship this year.
Exactly. We're not going to win a championship with the roster as is. Would you not rather put your chips all into the middle of the table, go for it one time around, and if you win a championship, was it worth it? Was it worth it?
Oh, yeah.
I say yes. I'd rather do that than sit in mediocrity. I watched the Cavs of the late 80s and 90s with Brad Daugherty, Larry Nance, Mark Price, and others who were damn good, and they couldn't get past the Chicago Bulls. They never won a title. They didn't get squat. They got squat. Great. We have these great memories. They didn't win anything. Would I have sacrificed Brad Daugherty if they could have brought in somebody else, some superstar? Would I have sacrificed one of them? Absolutely. Absolutely, I would have sacrificed them if it meant they were going to bring in players that were so darn good that it takes your team possibly to the next level. Would it have worked? I don't know. But we didn't make that move, so we don't know what would have happened.
But the thing is, though, if you trade for one of those two guys like Giannis or Brown, and then LeBron says, okay, I'm doing 2 years rather than 1, you have, even if those guys then say, no, look, LeBron's retiring, I want out now because it wasn't a preferred destination.
Sure.
You're still going to get a decent return. But you've taken the risk to actually try to win a championship rather than just sticking with what you've got that hasn't worked.
Exactly. Drew, where do you stand on this?
Well, I've always said if you want to win a championship in any regard, you have to take the biggest risks possible. If you don't take any risks, you're not winning anything. AKA the Guardians. Don't take any risks, you're not going to win anything. Simple. The Cavs, if you don't want to take a risk, cool. Guess what? You're not going to win. Yeah, the team looks good. Great. Look where it got us. It got you swept by the New York Knicks. Congratulations. It's not going to win you a title.
When did the last time the Guardians took a risk? Well,
Andrew Miller.
Exactly.
And that wasn't even a risk.
And what happened, though? What happened?
Yeah, they were within one game of the World Series.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. If you take a risk, oh my God, it's almost like you can come close to winning a championship or win a championship. And a lot of teams that we have seen over the years that have won championships took massive risks or took big gamble.
LA Rams. What did the Rams do? They bet everything on Matt Stafford. On Matt Stafford, and they won a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
It doesn't always work, as we do know. The biggest swing and miss in Cleveland history, Massage Watson. We took a giant risk on that guy, and it paid 0 dividends and cost us years.
Well, you got to make it's got to be taking the right guy. Obviously, when you take a guy who hasn't played in the league for 2 years, then that's your. And the one thing I have a problem with in Cleveland and all 3 sports teams is we should probably dump all 3 analytical departments, because all of our analytical departments are the biggest morons in the planet. Because we still have Arias because of the analytical department. We got Deshaun Watson because of an analytical department, and we couldn't get Giannis because of an analytical department, saying Evan Mobley is better, if not, or just as good, if not better than Giannis, apparently. So, I mean, our analytical departments in all 3 sports organizations are god-awful. They should probably get fired at some point. We already shipped DePodesta out. Maybe we should start shipping the others. But to say the least, though, teams that take, I mean, like you said, Matt Stafford to the Rams, Super Bowl. Sam Darnold to the Seahawks, Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was actually a bigger risk than you thought. They paid him pretty good money after one good season in Minnesota after a relatively underwhelming. I mean, it was an underwhelming career. He had one good year, and they said, "Okay, we'll take a chance on this guy." And
took a massive chance, and guess what? He won a Super Bowl.
what did the Raptors give up for Kawhi? Because they got him from San Antonio, and then they won a champion.
Yeah, they won the title, and they won a title the same.
Yeah,
the
I
same
don't
year.
know. Yeah, it's that's the thing. And you think about it. What did the Cavs do the last time LeBron came back? They gave away their number 1 pick, Andrew Wiggins. They made the move to get Kevin Love. Later in the season, they trade away other pieces and parts to bring in other complementary pieces like J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert. It was moves the following season or whenever it was that you bring in Jefferson and Richard Jefferson, Channing Frye. They had to make moves, but you've got to take some risks, and you need to take calculated risks. So that's just, I wanted to make sure I wasn't completely nuts thinking
No, I mean,
I'd rather go down swinging than standing and looking at strike three.
also, Mike, I was thinking about it too because I was trying to remember if I was correct or not. But what the Spurs traded or what the Raptors traded for Kawhi back in 2018, it was DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Pertl, and a top 20 protected first round pick in 2019, which later turned into Keldon Johnson. The Raptors received Leonard and Danny Green.
Hey man, it was worth it. They won a title.
They got a title. They beat Golden State.
Yep. That's all that matters.
They took a risk. They took a gamble. Shipped off DeMar DeRozan. Said he's not going to win us anything, and won a title.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Sometimes you got to take big risks.
Also, the other one that springs to mind quickly is: do you remember when the Knicks traded for Cat?
Yep.
And I slated them for this, saying they're going to lose this trade. They're going to lose this trade. They took the risk, and they ended up winning title within 2 years. 2 years we've been doing it.
Yeah. So sometimes it's not going to happen like immediately,
right?
But it could happen within the next year or two. It could happen. So all I'm saying is, if the Cavs want to win, it might take a big gamble to win.
Yeah.
What, year 6? Is it year 6 with Mobley and Allen? I think it is. I think.
That sounds about right. It sounds like that's correct.
I think it's year 5.
It's 5 or 6.
It's 5 or 6.
Whatever you want to call it. We know what they are. Evan Mobley seems like a super nice young man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
That's exactly the problem.
Same with Jared Allen.
When Evan Mobley was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, not this season, but the season before, he barely talked himself up.
Cheers, Wemby, for getting hurt, mate. You cost us some money there.
Exactly. But it took his teammates to talk him up. He's not that type of a person, and I don't see him having that fiery attitude out on the court to throw some elbows. I don't see him. Is he more talented than the 1980s or Detroit Pistons, Rick Mahorn and John Sally? Hell yeah, he is. But those guys would go out and throw some elbows and be feisty and get dirty. And I just don't see that from guys, unfortunately, like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, even though I love them dearly and think they are fantastic ambassadors for the Cavs and their reputation. I just question whether they can take themselves to the next level when it comes to the playoffs and in the nitty-gritty. That's kind of the way I see it. But the waiting game continues. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But
can we just move on to Dennis Schroeder, and keep Max Strus? Because to be honest, the more I think about it, Max Strus needs to stay.
I agree. I agree. I think that I don't have any problem with Dennis Schroeder, but obviously for his salary, we need to move on from him. I really liked what I saw out of Malik Thomas in Summer League. And after we talked about it, I looked up Tyrese Proctor's numbers. He had some very good games in Summer League last year because we were wondering, did he have a really good Summer League or not? Because I don't believe he ever played in the G League. He was just on the roster at the beginning of the season. And so if Malik Thomas is like that, I could see him immediately being on the roster. And we need to see a leap this year from Tyrese Proctor like we saw last year from Jalen Tyson. And I hope Malik Thomas turns into something great because he certainly showed some potential, albeit against a number of players who are not going to make it in the league and are going to play in the G League. You can only play against the person who's in front of you, right?
But he's making wide open threes, isn't he, in the Summer League?
So and an open three is an open three.
Exactly. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. If it's an open three, it's an open three. If you're getting left wide open, it doesn't matter who's defending against you. If you're making the shots, it doesn't matter who the opponent is, really, does it?
Exactly.
So I do remember this. I went to a Charge game and Proctor did play. He played one game for the Charge.
I remember this
past
game.
season.
He had a massive breakout game, didn't he?
Yeah, he had 30 points. He had 30 points. He was like 4 of 9 from 3. He had 7 assists, or 7 assists and 6 rebounds.
Yeah, I mean,
And 30 points.
He clearly is good enough to be on the NBA roster. He just is going to need an opportunity. And I think that's where, if you move on from a guy like Dennis Schroeder, other things, he's going to naturally get some more time on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of young teams that have a lot of work to do and are making their way back, or at least trying to make themselves relevant, the Browns. Rookies and quarterbacks reported to Berea today. And we are, I think they said on an advertisement, 8 Sundays away from the start of the NFL season. And I have just gotten started and was automatically renewed, paying for the NFL Sunday ticket at a higher price than I was paying last year. And I only just realized it today, and I'm very upset about that, but that's the way they screw you. But the Browns, talk about something that we needed here in Cleveland to distract us from all the other garbage. Pretty soon, we are going to be watching the quarterback tracker from the folks at ESPN Cleveland. We're going to be looking at those guys in shorts and T-shirts and throwing on air and nobody defending in 7-on-7, and we're going to think that we've got the best quarterback ever. How excited are we, guys?
I hate that stupid QB tracker. It is so dumb, and so whoever does that for ESPN Cleveland, like, please stop.
Okay,
Please.
but let me ask you this, or
Dylan Gabriel to Atlanta for a 7th-round draft pick. Who says yes?
Yay!
Yay.
I can't wait for the QB draft tracker to show like Gabriel went 2 for 2 with a touchdown pass and an interception. And
here's why they did it. And my read on it, whether they said this or not, I believe they started doing this because they knew we had a competition. And the only way to put in, quote unquote, like black and white, what's happening is to track every pass. So if you come back and you report so-and-so looked good or this person looked bad, what are your numbers to back it up? They decided, hey, well, we're going to track every throw and give you the stats and tell you what we see. And even then, it just, look, everybody clicks on it. The National talks about it. So I don't know what you're going to, it did exactly what it was intended to do.
But can't they wait until these guys actually put pads on before they start tracking?
That makes, I agree with that. But at the same time, the coach, I don't know if it was Stefanski or whoever said, look, we watch everything. We watch everything these guys do. Well, if you're watching everything, clearly we should keep an eye on it too. So don't give me this BS. If you're going to tell me, oh, we thought so-and-so looked really much, much better and did this, that, and the other and outperformed the other person, and you look at it and you go, by the numbers, I don't know what the flying heck you're talking about. There's no way. And you can call them out and you can ask them, because if they say everything is important, every rep counts, well, then it's something, it's another data point. It's another data point. And again, it really is the social media thing. The best thing that could ever happen to the Browns is that we have a quarterback settled and there is no competition, and then it will go away. So that's really what our goal should be here, is to see if we have the quarterback. And once we do, we will not have to worry about this. Last year was a wildly successful draft class for the Browns. You got Carson Schlesinger won Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Quinshon Judkins, who wasn't able to participate in training camp and the offseason due to an allegation, domestic violence allegation, comes in. He doesn't even play. He misses the first week. I believe he came in week 2. He was on his way to 1,000 yards with a terrible offensive line before he got injured. He is bouncing back from his injury. hopefully with a better offensive line. That's going to make him even better. Who else did we have from last year? The numbers didn't look great, but Mason Graham was not bad by all accounts. He did what he needed to do, which is to gobble up guys on the inside. He's not going to rack up humongous sack numbers because you had Myles Garrett next to him killing people, but he was there and he was played. He was good. Guys, who are some of the other players? Dylan Sampson.
Dylan Sampson did well.
What was pretty good. I think really other than Dylan Gabriel, we had a pretty successful year. And Harold Fannin, what a steal he was.
That was going to be mine. It was Harold Fannin. Was what a baller that dude was.
It's quite funny though. Harold Fannin was like going into that draft class was like the guy that I'd been tracking for months on end beforehand. And then when we got him, I was like, and then the same thing happened this draft. There was like 2 guys that I was tracking for ages.
You've been watching a lot of action with Gerard Cherry.
I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name.
Emmanuel McNeil Warren?
Yeah, him. And the other one was Boston.
Oh, Denzel Boston. And it appears
we ended up getting both of them.
Yes, definitely. So this year's draft class appears like it's got a lot of potential. They certainly they focused on the offense.
Yep.
This year. They get Spencer. Is it Fano or Fano?
I think it's Spencer Fano.
Fano. Okay, so Spencer Fano with the 9th pick of the first round. He's an offensive tackle out of Utah. He is slated to be your starting left tackle. Then they go in the 24th pick. They end up with Casey Concepcion, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. We have had a massive lack of talent at wide receiver. His biggest issue has been the drop seats, but as a very talented wide receiver, they have compared him some to Zay Flowers. I don't love that because I don't love Zay Flowers or think that highly of him in Baltimore. But
then again, Todd Monken is actually more of a receivers head coach over quarterback. And I think that pick's going to be really good because of how Flowers was implemented into the offense and Bolton.
Yeah, I think with how he used Flowers,
I could definitely say Casey having kind of a similar role in the Browns offense.
Right. Then they come back night 2 and get Denzel Boston, a big physical wide receiver out of the University of Washington, the Huskies, with the 39th overall pick in the second round. That's an incredible pick by all accounts. He was first-round grades, and they get him in the second. So now you've got 2 guys who potentially are starting wide receivers. And now you're going, the wide receiver room's getting a little crowded, isn't it? So they obviously did a good job there. Later in the second round, they get your guy, Mike Emmanuel McNeil Warren, out of the safety out of Toledo. We desperately need to beef up and replenish the defensive backfield. Safety position, of course.
Hasn't Grant Delpit in his final year as well?
I think this is his final year on his contract, yeah.
Right. I think the position we are a little bit thin at, and they talked about this the other day, and we actually picked somebody up, is at cornerback, right? And that's going to be tough because you got Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell, both very, very good. But after that, it gets a bit dicey. After those 2 guys, we'll have to wait and see how that all works out. Then in the 3rd round, we get another offensive tackle, this one out of Florida, 86th overall pick, Austin Barber. 5th round, 3 picks that we made amazingly. So we get Parker Brailsford out of Alabama, 5th round, number 146 overall. It's possible he could be our starting center. Because Whippler's been injured, and Posick actually just went to the Ravens.
Yep. I mean, I didn't mind the pick at all. We got it because you had to get a center sometime and somewhere, and I think Brailsford's a solid center. So I mean, I was pretty happy with the decision.
It seems like it might be a very, very good decision, especially at that value in the 5th round. I don't take issue with that. They go back to the well and get Justin Jefferson, not the same Justin Jefferson.
The proper Justin Jefferson, not this.
The Temu Justin Jefferson. And no, the linebacker out of Alabama, 5th round, pick 149 overall. Then at pick 170, fifth round, still, we get Joe Royer, tight end out of Cincinnati. And I believe if you guys said correctly, if I've heard correctly, he was breaking records of one Travis Kelce.
That's correct.
Yep.
That seems like that could be a very good value because obviously with David Njoku no longer being with the Browns, that moves Fannin over to number one tight end, and you're going to need at least a couple more. The Browns take kind of an odd pick. They go in the sixth round. They take Talon Green, a very raw specimen quarterback out of Arkansas, and now we'll have to have this discussion about what the Browns are going to do in their quarterback room.
The thing is, you can't cut him because if you cut him, someone's going to take him because of his.
But you made a good point. I believe
traits and stuff. Some team will take him up for.
But you made a good point. He has to be on their active 53. Yep. They can't just stash him away on their practice squad. They have to actually put him on the 53.
Because teams can nick players from the practice squad, so some team will nick him.
But are they putting him on the 53?
Well, they'll have no choice.
Well, right. They won't have a choice. But if that's the case, that may limit them. They may not. I'd rather take my chance and put
I'd rather have him as a trick play quarterback instead of having Junkins trying to do a wildcat or whatever it was.
I agree.
And then you just get rid of Dylan Gabriel, just trade him for like a day 3 pick.
I'll take him for a stale and soggy bag of potato chips. Last pick for the Browns was Carson Ryan, tight end out of BYU, 7th rounder, pick number 248. Again, I don't have any issue with that. And we've got a bunch. I had copied and pasted, and Mike, you pointed out some errors here, some changes in the undrafted free agents. One guy they were talking about today on ESPN Cleveland, guy who's small. I think they said they listed him at 5'7". I believe he's going to be wearing number 87 as a potential. Now, this is a name that you guys may not know because it's for us, old folks like myself. Gerald the Ice Cube McNeil was an amazing returner for the Browns in the 80s. Cole Wilson out of Baylor, 5'7", so he's literally just taller than I am and 177 pounds. So it seems like he's pretty solid. And they said he could be a breakout type of a person to watch at training camp, potentially as a returner, which would be incredible because the Browns have been searching the return desert as long as they've been searching the quarterback desert. They haven't been able to find them.
But did we sign like Tylan Wallace?
Yeah, we did sign Tylan Wallace. So let me ask you this, fellas. What are the biggest questions you see when it comes to the rookie class and the roster as a whole outside of quarterback? Mike, I'll go to you first on this.
Corner. If we lose one of our starting corners, I just don't know what we do. I think it's going to be one of those situations where we're going to see what other teams do. And then when they make their roster cuts, maybe you can get some guy that's good enough to be third choice in that room, maybe.
Well, we've seen, obviously, Andrew Berry. He made the move last year, trading Greg Newsome to the Jaguars to get Tyson Campbell. So we know he's not afraid to make some kind of a move of that type of make that type of move, I guess, is where I was going with that. Drew, what about you?
I mean, I would have to go with I was going to go corner as well. I mean, it's just like Mike said, you lose one guy and it's not good. So I would say corner. And again, you could even go back to offensive tackle just a little bit because of how young the offensive line is now and how inexperienced it could be. I know you did go out and make trades for offensive linemen as well. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just one of those wait and see type of ordeals with that in a sense. But the more like glaring question mark is the cornerback room.
Yeah, after that, I would go with the defensive line is going to be a big question. Yeah. We're trying to fill some major shoes that departed. Jared Verse is very good, but he is not Myles Garrett. And
didn't Malik Collins just go on like IR or something?
He did. I see here that Malik Collins, and he was a key contributor last year. He's active. He's
on the pup list.
He's the active pup. So I don't know what his deal is right now.
He got injured in week 13 last year. I don't know.
Right. Okay. So all right.
He was out.
So hopefully he'll be back sooner rather than later. But I think we've got some questions about the defensive line, and that will lead me to my next question. How do you think they'll come together on the defensive side of the ball after trading Myles Garrett, getting back Jared Verse? We've changed defensive coordinators with our we no longer have Jim Schwartz. We've got Rutenberg, or Coach Rudy, as they call him. Can you guys see a world in which the defense actually ends up being better even without Myles Garrett?
Yep.
And if so, I've got a theory on this, but I'll go to you guys first on it. Mike, what do you think? Is there a world in which the Browns actually somehow have a better defense even without future Hall of Famer Myles Garrett?
Yeah, because all these guys are going to, one, extra motivation, because a lot of the outside noise is, this defensive line without Myles Garrett is going to be ranked in the bottom of the league. So that's going to give the guys extra juice going into the season. Everyone expects them to struggle. So I do expect the guys to step up as a group rather than being really heavy reliant on Myles Garrett. I think these guys are actually going to surprise people. Alex Wright's back. Didn't he get injured back in the last year?
Yes, I believe you are correct. And Isaiah McGuire started to show some signs of life last year. As I'm looking at it right now on the ClevelandBrowns.com. Now, obviously, we know this person is a UDFA. Logan Fano, brother of Spencer Fano. Aiden Huntington, who was he was actually awesome as a fullback. Well, he was injured last year. You've got Isaiah McGuire, Julian Aquara out of Notre Dame, Tyreek Sapp, Corday Sidnor, Jared Verse, Brandon Whitley. Some of these guys, again, they don't even have pictures.
Well, the only thing I do know is that the opponent ain't going to try and potentially risk losing a game, then winning a game to stop our defensive lineman from breaking a sack record.
We're not going to be in that.
That's not going to happen unless Jared Verse decides to turn into a machine and go for like 20 sacks.
You never know. Drew, what do you think?
I mean, I think we can be a better defense without Myles Garrett, because there are some points where it looked almost like Myles Garrett was doing all the dirty work, and there wasn't much team effort on the defensive line. And when it came to like the run game, we got beat a lot on the run game, and that's because teams figured out, hey, if you take Myles Garrett out of the equation, he can't hurt us, and that defense can't hurt us. So they started going away from Myles by running to the opposite side of Myles. And where does that lead? Well, you're running to the opposite side of guys like Mason Graham, who are good run stoppers, and you're running away from. So I think now it's more of a collaborative effort and a more collected effort. And it forces you to be like, it forces guys to have to actually do their jobs and do their jobs very well. You can no longer rely on Myles Garrett to get 20 sacks a season and hide behind that. You actually have to work hard and do what you're supposed to do. Can you stop the run game? Can you get sacks? I know sacks are going to come from Jared Verse a lot again, because again, Jared Verse is one of the better sack guys in the NFL. So you're going to have to maybe rely a little bit on him, or at some point, Alex Wright or Isaiah McGuire or some of these other guys to come in and get some sacks. But your interior defensive line, again, a lot of it is, can you stop the run? Can you stop this? So I think a lot of the defense last year was able to hide behind Myles Garrett, and you can't really do that this year. You have to actually play defense now. So I think we could be good without him. it's just going to look a lot different than what people are used to.
All fair points there, and I agree with everything both of you have said. One thing that has been talked about, but neither of you necessarily brought it up, is the idea that they could look better. And one of the contributing reasons could be if the offense actually plays better and scores more than 16 points a stinking game, which they are looking to do with a revamped wide receiver room. And we can talk about the quarterback at some other point. We'll have plenty of time for that. The offensive line, it's young, but if they come together and they play better under a different offensive line coach, if they are more disciplined and they're not getting 5-yard penalties all the stinking time for lining up wrong or not getting out of the whatever it is, if the offense is merely better, it's going to give you a potential lead in a ball game. And the defense then isn't constantly playing from behind. And another piece of it is the special teams. The special teams, if they're not giving up scores, that's going to, again, keep you in the ball game. And also, if we actually can find a bona fide returner, maybe we can get some points from our special teams.
KC meant to be good at that as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that those are some other reasons where the defense could ultimately end up being better than last year, even without Myles Garrett. It's going to be different. And they're not going to be able to rely on one singular guy to do everything. Last year, I'm just looking at the stats. Last year, the next player in sacks was Malik Collins with 6.5. Alex Wright had 5.5. And I mean, I'm looking as a total, the team had 53. Myles Garrett had 23. So 30 sacks between the rest of the roster. And for the question I had posed earlier, Mason Graham, he only had 49 total tackles, 28 of them solo, 21 assisted, but he played all 17 games. What's the best ability?
Availability, baby.
Availability.
Didn't Verse, though, in some stats, outdo Myles Garrett last year? Or am I just making
I think there were some. I think there might have been some metrics. There may have been some metrics, and he of course, his sack numbers weren't that lofty, and that's kind of interesting because
I swear in one of the categories he had more like pressures than Myles did. I can't.
Yeah, I think there was a stat he had a lot more pressures than Myles did or something.
And I'm kind of surprised his numbers weren't better considering how well the Rams played and the fact that they were a very good team. Nevertheless, they are different types of players. This is going to take a team effort. It's not on one guy. And I do see a reason for optimism for the Browns. Obviously, they're trying to replace. Not only did we lose Myles Garrett in this trade, okay, we got Jared Verse back, but Devin Bush, who had a resurgence last year, he's no longer with the team. Who did we get to replace him at linebacker?
Guy from the Jets.
Oh, that's right. Is it Quinnen or it's Williams, right?
Yeah,
Quincy Williams.
Quincy Williams. Okay, so that's going to be somebody else who's very important. We need to see more out of Schlesinger. He was an amazing find, obviously, in the draft. We're all going, who? What? What's this guy?
It's a shame that he's going to probably retire because them two together would have been an absolute machine in the middle of that team.
Yeah, JOK. Yeah, it would have been crazy good. And I also believe just in general, I know we'll get around to it, but the offensive line coming together is so important. It is just so vitally important. If Quinshon Judkins isn't getting hit 2 yards in the backfield on every carry, if the quarterback isn't running for their lives, you actually stand a chance. If you then have wide receivers that are good route runners or can beat press man and can get open and the quarterback has time, holy smokes. If the quarterback can deliver the ball, we got a chance. We got a freaking chance. So I know that the rest of the world is down on the Browns.
Good, because then we can surprise people rather than people coming out expecting us to get 10 wins.
Right.
Even though I projected 10 wins originally before the Myles Garrett trade, but Maybe it's better to overachieve than under.
I always kind of feel like they do better when there are no expectations.
Exactly.
And there are certainly no expectations here from outside the building. Obviously, inside the building, they want to win. And that kind of gives me pause or brings me to a question here, which is, how can you both ask or want to win, but then at the same time not have any faith in your quarterback and think that winning is somehow going to get you closer to the answer at quarterback?
I was thinking this though, like, what does 8 wins do this team? Because if you don't believe in your quarterback room, but you're picking too low down in the
draft, You're Pittsburgh.
You're Pittsburgh, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, you're in the middle ground. Like,
yeah, and I don't want that. I don't want it to be constantly.
Duncan hasn't came here to be a team.
Right. He doesn't want to get fired. He doesn't want to get fired. He wants to win. And
he wants to be around 500, whether it's 9-8, 8-9, gets the 10
But you
wins.
have to know who your quarterback is. And the best case scenario.
The problem is, if Watson's your quarterback this year and he gets you to 9-10 wins and you're not going to commit to him long term, what's the solution next year? Because you're not going to have a top 10 pick.
No, you're going to have to get a veteran. You're going to have to find a veteran and take one of the leftovers in the draft. You might have to trade up. You might have to use other draft capital. And I just don't want to do that. I would love for them to figure out for certain whether or not Shedeur Sanders can be a long-term solution. And if not, why not? I've heard so many people criticize him. I could criticize him from the perspective of, okay, one thing that he does is he will take a bad play and potentially make it worse because he's trying to play hero ball. And you can't do that in the NFL like you could do at Colorado. And you also didn't have last year, and I don't know that you even have this year. You don't have Travis Hunter going up and catching everything. However, we obviously did improve the wide receiver room. But when it comes to other things, I don't know all of the intricacies and the specific things that people look at, which makes them say he is not good enough, he can't be the franchise quarterback, so on and so forth.
But there's no guarantee that if you're a top quarterback pick, you're going to be successful anyway. Like,
yeah.
No, you're exactly right. Look at Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell he had a cannon of an arm and was arguably one of the biggest busts ever in the NFL.
Ryan Leaf is still probably the biggest.
Ryan Leaf, thank goodness for the Colts that they didn't take him. Sheesh, man, would they have been sorry if they had done that.
Where did the Colts take Richardson?
Oh, that was just a few years ago. And where did they take him at?
I think it was 4.
Because
yeah,
he's been a bust.
He's been
awful. 3 or 4.
What about Trey Lance? What about all the draft capital that the 40
Trevor Lawrence about 6 years to become half decent?
Right, and that may have had a lot to do with coaching. So that's also something you have to wonder. How much is coaching slowing down the progression of some players? How much is it speeding up other players? We don't know. Bottom line is that there is a lot that is yet to be determined for the Browns. I see people and hear people talking about, well, neither of these guys are the answer. Okay, fair enough. But then how can you how can they accomplish winning if they don't have a quarterback? And if they do win some games, then where are they? They're nowhere. It's just like our conversation we just had about the Cavs. And would you make a trade or would you stick with the status quo, which is you're no closer to winning a championship if you just are in the middle, if you're stuck in the middle somewhere. And I think that's where the Browns would be if they try to trot out Deshaun Watson the entirety of the season. I don't even know if they've mentioned this, and you guys may agree. I kind of do. I don't know if he's going to last all season health-wise. To be
I
honest,
don't think so either. I that was my biggest thing for a while this year was I don't think he's going to stay healthy enough this year to play a full season. And I've always said that if he's not going to, if the main concern is him being healthy, at this point, why even start him in day one? You might as well just start Shador Sanders and not risk the health of Deshaun Watson, because I'm not going to sit here and waste 5 games, 6 games for Deshaun Watson to just get re-injured and miss the rest of the season, and then we waste another quarterback in Shador Sanders, not seeing what we have in him, and it's just pointless. Just start Shador and just be done with it. I'm tired of this back and forth crap.
What happened the last time Deshaun Watson came in with an extended amount of time without playing? Like,
he was terrible. He had to knock the rust off. He was
terrible.
He's still knocking the rust off.
Every time he comes back, he has to knock the rust off. It's absolutely absurd, guys. I don't know. We'll have a lot of time to debate and discuss all of this. I'm getting excited finally for football season. I know we're still in July. We just got past the All-Star break in baseball season and such. I know we're past the halfway point, but I'm ready for some football. I know we'll be getting into Ohio State as we move a little bit closer to the season. Certainly college football, that's a whole other mess to discuss and debate, and we will get around to all of that.
I was gonna say, what do you think of the NIL and the 5-star running back going to Tennessee? Because
good for him.
He wants more money.
Well, I think that's good for him. I think that that young man going to Tennessee, hey, take what you can get. He was going to have a hard time getting on the field with Bo Jackson already in Ohio State. And my biggest issue is Tennessee fan, the loud mouths and the smack talkers who think Tennessee is great and they suck. They're the same idiots who came out without their shirts on in the college football playoff and then proceeded to get waxed.
Then we nearly dropped like 50 points on them or something, maybe.
Yeah, we just absolutely brutalized them.
Yeah, the annoying thing about this player is, I'm not even going to try and announce his name, but he's earning nearly the same amount as Junkins on the Browns.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, they're crazy, and we will get to all that. And SEC is absolutely absurd as well. I got a lot of thoughts on that, fellas, but we have been going strong here for over an hour and a half. I think we should kind of bring it to an end for this evening. Now, Mike, I know we unintentionally stole your going nuclear topic. Is there anything else that has you going nuclear this week?
I did have another one earlier.
Do you need a moment to think about it? Well,
I can't remember what it was. I know what yours. I know what yours is, so I'm going to leave that because that's kind of annoyed me as well.
Go for it. You go for it. I've got plenty of other things that annoy me. Share your take on it, Mike. What has you going nuclear? Tell us about it.
So the NFL transitioning back to turf after the World Cup, when all these stadiums spent all this money to transform their pitches into grass. Everyone went into the World Cup worried about the ACL potential injuries, blah, 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 blah. And there was hardly any of it. And now these NFL teams are then going to transition all the way back to turf when majority of the NFL players would rather play in grass.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely fair. Drew, what has you going nuclear?
So my going nuclear has something to do with the LeBron James news.
Okay.
It's all these accounts, whether it's like these heat culture accounts or
I've blocked loads of them recently. They're doing me
these Golden State fanboy clubs or all these Twitter accounts going on Twitter and just saying, like, I saw a sports betting account, Novig, the other day saying LeBron James has reportedly signed with the Miami Heat on a 2-year, $14.5 million deal. The announcement will be made in 2. I am so sick of these accounts doing all these dumb things like this. Stop sitting there and just baiting people, posting LeBron James has reportedly signed with the Golden State Warriors on a 2-year, $15 million minimum deal. It's like, stop. Every time I see one, I just block them immediately or mute them because it's like, I am so sick and tired of seeing these every single day of my life. I get it. He's taking a long time to decide. I understand, but just causing all these fake rumors And then it's what leads back to the Polymarket and call sheet stuff as well. And I'm tired. And what kills me is the sports betting accounts are doing it. You had Novik doing it. You had, I think it was BetMGM doing it. And it's like, stop lying and saying LeBron has signed with this team or LeBron has signed with this team. It is so frustrating. Just let him decide when he wants to decide. Like, I get it. I'm frustrated with how long it's taking to. We all are. But stop spreading false information or false rumors. I mean, there's times where they said, "Oh, this guy on ESPN said this," and you have the guy from ESPN in the comments saying, "I never once said this ever." So it's like you're spreading lies. You're making these people look bad just to get what? Some clicks? I don't care if you need to pay your rent tomorrow, and the only way you're going to make your rent is based on Twitter. Get a life, get a job, touch grass, go to a beach, go see a nice little sunset at the beach. Get a life. Do something else. Do something better. It's mind-boggling to me that people spend hours upon hours a day on this type of stuff. It's wasting their life. You have so much to live for. Go do something. Go meet a girl. Go out on a date. Go somewhere. Do something. There's so much in life than just lying all day on Twitter about LeBron going here or this going that. It's so frustrating.
Wow. No, that's you hit on it. We hit a sore spot there with you, Drew. But I'm right there with you, of course, obviously. I certainly hate that from a number of different perspectives, including but not limited to journalistic integrity. And obviously that's not what social media is. But all these people and the rumor mills is crazy. It's incredibly crazy and frustrating. What has me going nuclear is something that I don't know if it's common in other states or if it's just a Virginia thing. We have this annoying thing called a personal property tax. So you buy a car, you pay tax and title when you buy the car. You pay your income tax. Yet every single year, I get a bill. Every person who owns a vehicle in the Commonwealth of Virginia gets a bill from the state treasurer and says, you have to pay a personal property tax. Are you kidding me? What on earth? This is bullcrap. I'm getting taxed on this thing every stinking freaking year. I don't care what daggone calculation you use and all this other garbage. You're out of your mind. I'd rather you raise the sales tax just a small percentage and you'd make more than enough money instead of taxing me and retaxing me on the money I already spent, on the property I already own. Get the bleep out of here. Personal property tax, kiss my butt, okay? Kiss my butt. And that is what has me going nuclear.
Well, there's your reason to come home.
Yeah. Well, as long as there's no e-check, we'll be there. I'm in. I'm definitely in. Guys, a fantastic show. Want to thank all of the viewers, all the commenters. Really appreciate it. Again, we are part of the Land Multimedia Group. Be sure, folks, to check out Dick's House of Sport in Strongsville for all of your sports apparel needs, shoes, and so much more. As I said, it's not a store, it's a destination. And we will be back with you again next week for all kinds of other great, ridiculous conversations and commentary on the sports world that is ours, which is mostly sad because it's Cleveland. But we do it anyway because, well, it gives us something to do.
Less than a month to the Premier League season. Don't forget that.
Yay.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, we will definitely be talking Tottenham Hotspur, and we will get into everything else that is going on. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in. For Mike Pellegrini, for Drew Hagenbaugh, I'm Ethan Greenberg, and you have been tuned in to Going Nuclear, full-blown coverage of the Land, part of the Land Multimedia Group.